Greetings. Welcome to Tell Your Story. My name is Lerato Moletsane, and I will be telling you guys about my story. I am 21 years of age, and the story will be about how I lost my leg to a rare bone cancer type.
Tell my story, every story is inspiring.
Hello, Lerato. How are you?
I'm glad, Smile. How are you?
I'm all good. Good to have you on your show. So could you start telling us about where you grew up? Like, where did you grow up?
So, I was born and bred in Vanderbilt Park. I grew up literally in Vanderbilt Park. Yes.
Okay. And then who did you grow up with? Do you have any siblings? Who raised you? Your mom got both parents or single parent?
Okay, so my biological father passed away in 2003, if I'm not mistaken. So I do have two siblings, they're my half siblings, brothers actually. And I grew up with a mother and a stepfather. But in the long run, he got out of the picture. So most of the time, it was just me, my mother, and my two
Okay.
siblings.
All right. So did you enjoy your childhood? Like, would you say your childhood was okay?
My childhood was
Yeah.
amazing, actually. My childhood was really nice.
No complaints, nothing.
Like anybody else, I do have complaints about having rough
Yeah,
times, but none than that, it was an okay upbringing.
All right. So high school, tell us about that. Where did you go to high school?
So I went to a high school named Hartje Skarld Vet. It's also in Vanderbilt Park. I started from grade 8 until matric.
Okay, it's an African school, right? All right. So
Yes.
which means you can speak Afrikaans.
Yes, very fluently so, in fact. A bit of coconut to side.
Okay, interesting. So tell us, the first time, which year was it when you were diagnosed with your rare cancer?
So I got diagnosed after matric, got diagnosed in 2019. However, my symptoms started being very much more vivid in 2018, which was my matric year.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So what were the symptoms? Can you walk us through that journey?
So my symptoms were pain and swelling in matric, swelling of my femur bone, which is my knee. And then in 2019, I started losing my mobility. So that is like one of the most important symptom and sign, in fact, that indicates that you have some type of cancer.
Okay, so the doctor obviously diagnosed you, but that moment when you decided that you gotta go see a doctor, like walk us through that one, like that moment.
So I was a very ignorant person towards my body, I would have pains in matric, but I did not attain them because I was an athlete back in the time. So I just thought that my knee was paining because I was tired of running, or maybe I injured my knee when I was running. See, I was running hurdles.
Okay,
And if
interesting.
you do run hurdles, you actually do bump into the hurdles with your knees from time to time. So I just thought that was a problem, and I never went to the hospital or doctor to go and test it out. I only started going to test out my leg in 2019. This is after matric, because it started getting worse. I would lose my mobility daily, which means that I would stop being able to walk normally every day. I would limp a lot daily. I would, all of those things. My knee would sort of like lock if it was raining or if it was cold. And when I first started going to the doctor, I went with my mom actually. And the doctor could not tell me what was wrong at the time. So he just diagnosed me with torn ligaments and tendons, Seeing that I was an athlete, he also just thought to himself,
Yeah.
because see, these symptoms are symptoms that actually come with any other disease or any other injury. Pain, swelling, it's common things.
Yeah.
They don't really mean anything. So he just said, no, it's torn ligaments and tendons, and yeah, that was it. And then I think 2 months after, we started going to public hospitals because we did not have money or medical aid to go to a private hospital or private doctor. And when we went to those hospitals, public hospitals, they could never tell me what was wrong.
You and your mom, right?
Me and my mother, yes. It was always me and my mother from day one. And this one doctor at Sebokeng Hospital told me that nope, he does not understand what is wrong with you. He was looking at an X-ray and he's like, I don't know what's wrong with you, and that's it, you know. And it was really frustrating because if a medical person, somebody who went to school for this thing, tells you
Yeah.
that they don't know what's wrong with you, it sort of starts giving you some sort of red flags that something might be
Yeah.
genuinely wrong. Because I could tell by looking at the X-ray that I did have like a black spot on my knee. I knew that something was wrong. I just did not know what was wrong. So then we started going back to the doctor. However, we went to a wrong doctor. We were going to a GP, a general practitioner, and we would go there because that's the only doctor we know. I think this is something that should be blamed on, I think, black mentality, you know, because to us as black people, a doctor is a GP, that's it.
Yeah.
We are not exposed to specialists in any way. We don't know a lot of
Yeah,
specialists,
yeah.
you know. So we kept on going back to the GPs and they would just tell us, no, man, you know, the same story all over and all over again. That no, you might have just twitched your muscles, you know, smaller kind of things. And yeah, until my mom, 9 months later down the line, when I stopped walking, she actually bought me crutches before even knowing that I'm going to need crutches for the rest of my life.
What year was this?
It was still in 2019.
2019.
Yes, 2019. In October, she then went and booked a scan for me. But before even going and booking a scan, I was desperate at this point. You know, I would bump into people and they would sort of advise me to do things that were against my beliefs at the time. And I would do them, you know. I was so desperate to a point that if somebody would come and tell me, dude, go and bath with sand, I would do it, you know.
Yeah.
I bumped into people and they'd be like, no, go to your multi stores, you know, buy 1, 2, and 3, rub it on your knee, you're gonna be better. Still nothing
you tried
happened.
them on.
And at the time I did not believe in anything that had to do with African spiritualities, you know. At the time I did not believe in anything that just was out of the ordinary. I thought to myself, you know. So it was just not African spirituality things. I also did things in the Western ways that I did not believe in. There was a point where I used to eat moringa. It's a type of dacha because they believe it heals anything and everything. So that was like a daily thing where I would buy this type of dacha and eat it because I would believe it's going to help me out. And yeah, so my mom noticed my level of, like, how can I put this? The sense of urgency that I had.
Yeah.
And in being desperate, my level of desperation. She noticed this and she was like, nope, we're going to sort this out. She went to Mediclinic one morning and she went and booked me an appointment to see an orthopedic. And he gave me a date, told me that I should come back on the 22nd of October. This was like before my birthday. So I was born on the 16th of October. This was roughly on like the 14th of October. And then on the morning, the 22nd of October, I had a hectic life. On the morning, my 2 brothers were young at the time. They got involved in a motor accident. They were on their way to school. So then my mom, in fact, the day before, which was the 21st, my mom then had to take them to the hospital, same hospital that I'm actually going to for the appointment, took them there and they got admitted. So the following day, which was the 22nd of October, I went to the hospital for my appointment, fetched my mom in the kids' wards because she slept outside with one of my brothers, fetched her and we went downstairs to the orthopedist side, you know. So she was really going through a lot on that day because now all 3 her kids are in one building, different wards, different reasons.
Strong woman she is.
She indeed is. So we got to the doctor and he tested me. He just fiddled with my knee. He touched it. He bended my knee. And he also said, okay, so I suspect that this is like a ligament issue. We're going to operate you something small. And then he asked me a question. He was like, do you feel your knee part, you know? And I'm like, not really. And he went on asking me to give him details of what I feel. So I explained to him that my knee was extremely cold. I would sleep with hot water bottles. I would literally light the heater the entire night, had to cover it up. So those were the things that gave him the green light to like, this is really out of the ordinary. He then sent me to go and get a scan done. An X-ray scan the same day. I went and came back with the results. So it's still in one building. You just move from one side of the building to the next and come back.
Yeah.
When I came back with the results, there were people in the queue, to see the orthopedist. I came back with the results. He opened them and he started crying. I was 19 at the time, just turned 19 actually. And he started crying and I'm like, what's going on, He writes something down and then he calls his receptionist. He's like, can you please lock the doors, No patient is allowed to come in. If patients come in, please tell them that they should know that they're gonna wait, because we need to get this person to the hospital as in like now, as soon as now. But now he's still not talking to me, so he's still not telling me anything. He's doing all these things in front of me and I'm just there like, what's going
wondering
on,
what's up. Yeah.
What's up? And the receptionist did just like she was instructed. She closed the surgery and she told everybody that, guys, we have a very urgent matter that side, so can you guys just be aware that you're going to wait, or we can reschedule your appointments and you guys can come at another time, And my doctor was really frustrated at this point because he's trying to call people from Charlotte Maklake, the Joburg chain. He's trying to get like an orthopedic on call and nobody's answering and he's really losing it. I think he called for like an hour until he managed to get a doctor on call.
And you're still watching everything. Like,
I'm sitting there and he's also not saying anything because he's just standing there, he's calling, he's making arrangements. He's not even communicating with me in the process, So at this time now, the doctor's not talking to me and my mom, he's really not saying anything. And I believe that it was for the first time ever, I saw a doctor being that devastated, if I should say, You know how doctors are told that they should not show emotion to their patients? At that time, mine was just full of emotions. And when he started coming down, after calling like the hospital, he sat down and he gave me like a letter. So he's like, you have something growing inside of you. I'm like, growing? He's like, no, you have something growing inside of you. This time I'm really nursing. So immediately when this guy is like, you have something growing, I knew exactly what he was talking about,
Wow.
And he's like, I booked you an appointment. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, you should be at Johannesburg Hospital, Charlotte Maklake, Like I've never heard of the place. I'm like, so is it like a day visit? He's like, pack as much as you can. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, pack as much as you can. Take all your clothes, just pack enough and be prepared for anything. Pack a pillow if you have to pack a pillow, I'm like, okay. So he gives me this letter, like, so what is wrong with me? He's like, no, just go there. They will be able to tell you. As for me, my role ends here.
Wow.
So we step out with my mom, like, I have cancer.
You tell your mom.
I tell my mom, like, I have cancer. There's no way. She's like, no, man. It does not necessarily mean that,
So emotionally, how are you reacting? Are you dropping a tear or are you...
So I think I skipped a part. When I was doing like my bridging nursing course, there's this girl in my class that had a daughter that had that type of cancer. So every day when I went to school, especially on our practical days, when we would have to like bathe the doll, which was our patient, she would like be like, I think you have cancer. So it played a lot in my mind. So I think I was sort of prepared. I don't want to lie. I think I went there knowing that it's about to go down, And so the minute when I told my mom that I think I have cancer, she's like, Lerato, stop it. Be positive. Be okay, It's not going to be that bad. We step out, we go to the car, and we drive back home. So she was going to come back and sleep with my brothers at the hospital that day, So she just wanted to go home and change and take 5-minute nap, nyana. And we drive off home. So we were driving with a friend of hers. And in the car, I'm sitting at the back. I open my envelope, which was a diagnostic letter. Yes. I open it and I can see that he wrote there that I diagnosed this person with these type of things. He listed 3 things.
Mhm.
And all of them end with one word. All of them end with comma, comma, comma. It's like Ewing sarcoma, osteosarcoma, like all of them have that comma at the end.
Yeah.
Never heard of them. I take my phone,
Google.
I Google. We're in the car.
Yeah.
I Google. First thing that comes on Google is losing a leg, cancer, death, death rate. And I'm like, yo, what's going on,
Yeah.
I Google the second one, same thing. I Google the third one, same thing. So now I start Googling which one is better amongst the 3. So now I'm hoping to have the much easier one. I know when all of these things are talking about losing a leg, are talking about dying, and I'm like, yo, this is hectic. I try to keep my cool,
In the car, yeah.
in the car. We get home and we sit down. So my mother comes from a very supportive background in a point where whatever happens, she said it like amongst her siblings. She calls them, like, no, we just came from the doctor. The doctor's like, something is growing in her, and that's it. And I'm quiet. And I'm a very bubbly person. I talk a lot. So she's like, why are you so quiet? I'm like, I want to tell you something, but I'm not sure how you are going to act.
So why did you feel like you need to tell, like that urge of telling her, like where does it come from? Like what were you expecting? I mean, you could have waited for the hospital.
I couldn't actually. At that point, I really wanted to go to the hospital like same day, same time.
Like now.
Because like a lot of things have been happening during the day, and it's like, yo, So I think I also needed to offload.
Okay.
And stop overthinking. It's better to offload and talk to somebody than take your own decisions and, run wild with them. So now I'm like, dude, we need to tell you something. He's like, okay. I'm like, but I need you to be the bigger person. And I need you not to panic because I am panicking. So I need you to calm down for me. So she starts sitting upright and she's like, boo, man, continue speaking. And like, so in the car, I opened my letter. I Googled the 3 diagnoses and I found out something scary. She's like, I'm like, so I am diagnosed with 3 different types of cancers. And I've never heard of them. They're all talking about death and losing a leg and chemotherapy and losing hair, I'm like, so yeah. So my mom was like, no, man, you know how doctors can diagnose you and it's not the case.
She was being strong.
Yeah, you've been getting diagnosed a lot, so it's not the case. I'm like, okay. So I also think she was under a lot of stress with my brothers being in the hospital and all of that. So after our conversation, she gets a call saying my brothers are discharged. Only one is discharged. My youngest one is going to sleep for the night and then the next morning he'll get discharged. And mind you, because they were involved in the motor accident, the youngest one had problems with the knee because he bumped his knees into the engine of the car, because it was like a taxi, how the engine is inside. Yeah. So then, she goes to bed and then later the day she goes back to the hospital. So I'm alone in the morning packing. Well, my stepfather was still around at that time. He's helping me to pack. So I only took my PJs and I took a pillow because I was told to take a pillow.
Everything.
So I only took PJs, pillow, and I think slippers, and then that was it. My charger, like your basic things that you take. But I've never been in a hospital. I've never been sick. If I was sick, it means I had flu like any other person, then that was it. So I don't know what to expect, what not to expect. I just packed everything that I thought was okay, and we went. My mother's friend came and picked me up, and then went to the hospital, picked my mom up from the hospital, and then... So in the car, I'm like, God, all I want, don't mind you giving me whatever you want to give me. I want the weakest link. So I want a cancer that's not going to be hectic, no death, no losing a leg, no nothing. I want the simpler way out, And we get to the hospital. So it was a Wednesday, it was the 23rd of October, 2019. We get to the hospital and like, how can I explain this? Sharat Mateka is a place where students, medical students, also get their like practicals done.
Okay.
So on that day, it was the day where students were getting their practicals done. Ne? We get there, and then this professor takes my scan, the one that I came with from the hospital. He puts them like in some sort of board. It has lines. And there's like 5 other men in there, which are doctors, students, medical students. He's still not talking to me. So it's me, my mom in there with these 5 doctors and himself. So it's 6 doctors, 2 people. And he says to his students, tell me what you see on the board. So I came because I need answers, and he's not paying attention. He's like, tell me what you guys see on the board. Cancer, Rotwad, growth, tumor. My mom starts crying.
The spot.
On the spot, my mom starts crying. So the doctor's like, why are you crying? He's like, I don't want you to be crying. Do you want to step out and then come back in when you feel ready? You know? She's like, no, I'm fine. I'm not going to cry. I'm trying to hold everything together. And he asked me, so what do you do for a living? I'm like, no, I'm in school. I'm doing like a bridging nursing course. And my future plans is becoming a nurse and all of that. So then he's like, what can you see on the x-rays? Tell me what you see on the x-rays. Step forward. And I'm like, okay, so I can see that there's like a big spot. I can see that this thing is something growing because I've done x-rays and it was small. So now that it's big, it means it has grown, you know? I'm not sure if it's blood or something, but I can see there's something. And he's like, okay. So that thing that you can see looks like a tumor. He's like, do you know what a tumor is? I'm like, yes, I do. And now I want to show him that I'm also busy with, medical things. I'm like, no, I know that you can get cancerous tumor and you can get tumors that are not cancerous. So mine is not cancerous, don't worry. Mine is okay. He's like, okay. So in order for us to know that it's cancerous, we're going to need to test you. By testing means operation. It's called biopsy. We're going to take a piece of your bone, go and test it, tell you what is actually wrong with you.
Okay.
But for now, be positive. It might be anything. It might be infection of the bones. It might be TB of the bones. So it might be a lot of things. But I need you to also prepare yourself that in the long run, I'm going to come back and ask you to take out your leg. I'm like, that's not going to happen. Chill, relax, I've got this,
What, you telling the doctor that, or you telling
Yeah,
yourself
no, I'm
that?
telling the doctor that, like, chill, no, that's not going to happen, But there's 5 other doctors that are vouching that this thing is it. And I'm like, nope. You guys don't know the type of God I serve, so we're in for a chill, So he's like, no, I'm booking you in because you got to go for an operation and then you got to know what's wrong with you. First night in the hospital was really cold and boring, like really boring. And now I'm in severe pain. But now they can't give me anything because they also don't know what they're dealing with. So they need to take me for tests.
Yeah.
And I go to the ward. So that ward is a ward for bones. Everybody in there has issues with bones. So now I start asking around. You can see that girl has a similar knee as mine. Her knee looks as swollen as mine. I'm like, so what's wrong with you? She's like, no, TB of the bone. I'm like, Nani, TB of the bone. I'm handling this thing like a champ.
Yeah.
And a few weeks later, I went for my operation, my biopsy operation, most painful operation ever. That thing is really hell because you can imagine they take a piece of your bone and close. So meaning your bone is left inside with like a hole in it. It was extremely painful. I come back and then when waiting for the results, the doctor orders knee braces for me because my knee was really deformed in a way. So yeah, my knee was a bit deformed at the time and you could tell by just looking at me that, babes, there's no way you're gonna get your knee fixed. But my faith was honestly on another level. I've never prayed like that before, Before even going into theater, like I told you, I was really desperate. I went to a point where I wanted holy oil, would pray with holy oil, holy water. I'm in hospital and I'd wake up at 12 a.m. to pray, I was really deep into prayers. and I told myself that I can't be praying like this and nothing
happens.
So the doctor ordered knee braces for me. So a knee brace is something that helps your knee to like keep balance in a way. And he came back to me, not with my results, before my results, he came to me and is like, dude, because we're waiting for results and we don't know what's wrong with you, I'm not going to send you home. You're going to stay in hospital for months. I'm only going to give you a time out, which means I'm going to take you home Saturday, Sunday. I want you back Monday. And when you go home Saturday, Sunday, you can't leave the house. So I need you to get in a car, in the house, and back. I don't want you walking. I don't want you cleaning. I want you to be bedridden. Because should you bump your knee, hurt your knee, if this is a cancerous tumor, it's going to become aggressive because we've already taken a piece of it. So we've already activated it to be aggressive. So if it's cancerous, it's going to be more aggressive and it's going to spread. So I need you to be safe. And if you're stuck in hospital, public hospital is even worse. There's no TV, there's no nothing. For months, it was scary.
No Wi-Fi, nothing.
No Wi-Fi, no Wi-Fi, no TV, no books to read. Like, it's just you waking up, bathing, eating, sleeping, and the food. You get used to eating the same type of food to a point where you can't eat the food anymore. And he took me to, before that, he took me home before I got my results. I went home after my biopsy and it was hell. Hell because in the hospital, I was put on a drug called morphine.
Okay.
So this is the most strongest drug ever. It's only given to people who have severe injuries from cancer or from any type of accident, motor accident or, So in the hospital, I survived on morphine.
So what does it do to you? Like it numbs you or...
It's a drug, baby.
It makes you high.
It's genuinely a drug. It's supposed to numb the pain, but in the process, you become high. So I would speak, that fluent English, You are really high. It makes you sleepy. You don't feel anything. You are genuinely just a drug addict at that point. So when sending me home, he only needs to give me small portions because it's addictive. And he told me that this thing is addictive, And when I'm home, nobody controls my intake. And I went home. This thing is paining. And as a parent, as much as you want the best for your child, my mother would try to monitor my morphine intake, but it wouldn't work. I'm in pain. And for her to see me not in pain, she needs to give me that drug. She needs to give me... I was drinking morphine pills and morphine syrup, and there was a time where I was also on the pump on the same time. So I was taking morphine in and out. I started with the smallest grams. I think it was 30 or 60 grams. I'm not sure. The orange pill. I moved my way to the purple pill. Moved my way to the other color. I can't remember the color, but I was deep in it. And went back into the hospital and my results came back. My results came back and I was told that I have cancer. So, again, it's not a big deal because I sort of inherited it. From my mother's side, most of her siblings had cancer stories.
Okay.
Not that they had a full-blown cancer like mine, but maybe were diagnosed with something and then it got healed. So, immediately when I was told that it's okay, I'm not going to die. My family members are still alive. We survivors go high, so we're just rolling.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's December, it's November. Yeah, it's November. He's like, okay, December, I want you to start with chemotherapy. The reason I want you to start with chemotherapy is I'm going to try and give you a chance to save your leg. Because I know that you told me you don't want to lose your leg. So for us to perform the limb saving procedure, this means they're just going to take out the cancer part and, make a plan with some steels inside, close me up. We need to shrink your tumor. So you need to go through chemo. It's going to be 3 cycles. After every 21 days, I would go back for a cycle for 2 days. And then for the first 3 months, you're going to do these cycles in hospital because we need to monitor you. And if your tumor shrinks, we're going to make a plan for you. So before this part of chemo, I've been going through a lot of scans, body scans, bone scans, MRI scans, CT scans. So to like test if from my head till my toes, I don't have any cancer, just to check if it's on one point so that they can know what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And okay, now I go home. When I got home, Google. One thing for sure that I can sort of like advise people to do is to stop making their own research.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Google drives me insane. I went home. Now I know that I have cancer. I know the name of my cancer. It's called osteosarcoma. Now I start Googling about my cancer. Now I start Googling about chemotherapy, what it is, what it does, how it's going to treat you now, you know. And I start Googling the death rate. So I know that I'm going to live for how long. I know that I'm going to go in for how long. And I think those things sort of scared me. The fear of the unknown got the better of me.
Yeah.
I was really scared way before I knew that.
Yeah, you know? Sure.
But still, I'm still okay. Like I was really, at that point, I was really not angry at anything, at the universe, at God. I was genuinely okay with me being sick. And all I wanted was chemotherapy, take it like a baby. I mean, if 2-year-olds can go through cancer and survive, means I'm also going to survive. First, chemotherapy.
So chemotherapy is that process that can save your cancer or save you as a person with cancer?
So chemotherapy is actually poison. That's what chemotherapy is. It's poison that is cooked, like I'm just trying to explain it to you so that you can understand. Not necessarily poison, but it's poison that is created differently for every person. So every person's chemotherapy was unique.
Okay.
It's distinguished by your body weight, by your height, by your age, by your cancer type. So the type of chemo I am taking in is not your type of chemo. We might be taking the same type of name. Like there's this one called the Red Devil or the cisplatin. I was taking Red Devil and cisplatin. I might take cisplatin, but the dosage is not as equal as yours. Mm-hmm. Hence, I'm saying that it gets designed for your body, for your type of chemo, and for your age, and also for your sex type actually, whether you're female or male, you know? So it is meant to kill cancer types, but now it can't go in the hand and then go straight there. So it's going to shut down your entire immune system. It's going to kill all your blood cells in order for it to kill the chemo cells as well. Then your body will then, regenerate body cells, but will not make duplicates of the cancer cells. Okay. So it's trying to attack everything, clean out your body. That's what it does actually. So I went for my first cycle in December 2019. Went in day 1. So when it goes in, it wasn't really bad because remember my immune system is really strong at the time. I'm like, okay, small waters, nothing hectic. Went in the following day. Following day, my body's still very strong. And the doctor then tells me, so these are the after effects, the side effects that you're going to have. And whenever you have a side effect, come immediately to the doctor. You are no longer allowed to go to any doctor besides here. You are no longer allowed to go to a chemist, even if it's at 2 a.m. You come here or you call us. So your life begins here and it's going to end here. It's a cycle, You're not going to include anything besides us. You don't try any African herbally things. You don't try any Western medication. You take what we give you. If you want to try supplements or anything, come to us, tell us. We will sort of stop your process and allow you to go to African things or, we will design like a timetable, but don't take decisions on your own. So she starts telling me that to be on the lookout for losing hair, diarrhea, losing your eyesight, not hearing properly, all of that. And she's like, here's a list of things that you need to do, your do's and don'ts. I had a list of things. When I say a list, I mean literally a list of things that I was not allowed to eat. I was not allowed to eat certain types of meat, certain types of vegetables, certain types of... your life just changes.
Can you mention a few though?
Okay, so Brian, if I buy Bri pack or chicken or any meat, I have to look at the level of brine it has.
Okay.
Brine is like a fertilizer. So anything that's fertilized, no. I was not allowed to eat a fruit and then leave it and then come back to it. I was not allowed to eat a huge intake of food all at once. I was supposed to eat small portions. I was not allowed to eat something, leave it and then come back, even if I close it, no. So you were supposed to dish small amount of food, eat and finish. The whole thing is not to expose your body to bacteria. One bacteria,
okay.
So you need to stay as clean as possible. I was supposed to stop junk food, stop oily food, stop fizzy drinks, stop... I was not even allowed to eat, like your fruit salads from places. I was not allowed to eat anything that's out of the season. So I had to go back to Google and Google, is watermelon... Is it the watermelon season? So it was not just the food intake that I need to cut down on. I was also told that I need to remain not dead, but you're not supposed to be alive. So no going to spas, no swimming, no exposing yourself to cold weathers or too hot weathers, not being in the sun too much, not being in the house too much. You just had to live your life according to what you're feeling. And I was told that, dude, be okay with whatever you're feeling and try to experience everything, because you're going to learn what to do when you're feeling a type of way. And me being me, I did not listen. Went for a massage at the spa. Got extremely sick. And my doctor was like, I told you don't. So you need to not expose yourself to bacteria in any way. If I'm going to the spa, it means I'm going to be half naked. It means that I might catch a cold. You can't catch a cold when you're on chemo. Like, you can't get sick, have flu when your immune system is on 0. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you basically need to live your life to just get better. You just need to wake up, do things that are going to make you be better, not things that are going to be out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
So I went in for my second my second day, and I went home. It's December vibes. I think it was around the 16th of December. I'm still okay. Day 3. Now, I'm sorry for using this word, but now shit is getting real. It's day 3 and I can't get out of bed.
You can't move nothing.
No, I can move, but I can't get myself to wake up. I can't get myself to get up.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just drained. It's day 3 and I can't touch my phone.
You can't reach for it, like you can't...
I can reach, but I can't. My mental state is dead at this point. I can't understand what's happening to my body. I couldn't understand that my body actually shut down. Yes, I'm awake, I'm alive, my brain is... But I'm not thinking about anything. I'm not hungry. I don't want to go to the bathroom. I don't want to speak to people. I don't want to touch my phone. And I'm vomiting. I had severe vomiting. So I could not eat anything. So one of chemotherapy's side effects is severe vomiting. I was vomiting in such a way that you could literally feel that my intestines are like coming up.
Yeah.
And whatever they give me, I was not in the mood for anything. That's why I'm saying that I could not explain what I was going through. So now you have a family where they really want to know, dude, what's wrong? Because when I was vomiting in the hospital, it was better. I was vomiting, they're giving medication, I'm vomiting, they're giving me like drip or something. But now that I'm home, it's my 3rd day being home and I just can't explain what's wrong, And I think 2 days after that, my mom started like getting used to the routine. That, okay, she's going to wake up. When she wakes up, you need to take her to the bathroom and you need to bathe her. If my mother was not bathing me, I could not do it myself. I had 2 legs, 2 arms, but I could not reach and bath. I did not have the energy. All I had energy to do was sleep. So my mother had to design a program that, okay, I'm going to feed her at this time. I'm going to bathe her at this time. I'm going to comb her hair at this time. And I'm going to try and get her to go and get fresh air. If she did not do those things, believe me, I wouldn't even get hungry. I wouldn't even go. If my mom was like, did you go to the bathroom today? She wouldn't say that. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you're good.
Then
you good.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get pressed and have to go to the bathroom. But because I don't have the energy to get out of bed, I'm like, I'd go tomorrow morning. So in my bedroom, there was a bathroom. In the house we lived in, there was a bathroom. So even if whatever I did was just in my bedroom, and it was very toxic. So my chemotherapy would get me to be like that for 7 days. So it's 2 days of chemo, 1 day of in hospital. So basically it was 10 days of my life. And then for the next 11 days, I'm trying to be okay. After 21 days, I'm back in the hospital for another chemo. I think at this time, my mom started noticing that my hair was shedding off. So she's like, don't you want to go and cut your hair? I'm like, no, I'll just do a brush.
You were not aware at this point.
I'm not seeing my changes. But because she's like, don't you want to cut everything off? I'm like, no, I'll just go and get a brush, you know? Because I know that I've read that I'm going to lose my hair. So I'm like, let me just go and prepare myself. So I go and cut my hair, but like, I leave a bit of hair. And I'm going for my second chemo. Went for my second chemo. And I swear to God, I lost it. So we're sitting in the waiting area. There's like 50 people in there, all black people. For the first time ever, I realized that black people are sick.
Like 50. 50.
Like, it's a public hospital. It gets packed. There's like 50 of us waiting to get our chemotherapies. I look around. I see an old person who's crying. I look around. I see a child who's devastated. I see my peers. Like, it's extremely heavy in that ward. It's extremely heavy. So when I'm waiting to see my doctor, I start losing it. I'm like, Mama, I'm not going to make it alive. It's my second chemo. We're not even halfway through the journey. And I'm like, I am not going to make it alive. And I start crying. And I start losing it. You can imagine when people are sick and one person in the 50 is crying. I was crying like loudly and I'm like, I don't want this thing. I'm like, can I not sign somewhere that I don't want it and I'll die and like, you know, don't want to go through this. I don't want to look like this woman. I don't want to look like her. Like, I just don't want to get to this point.
So they're the reason that you like you went crazy, like I don't want this anymore. Like the people around you.
When I saw, I think this was the first time me seeing so many black people sick. And like I told you, with black people, we have a lot of stereotype behaviors and mentalities. It's not a usual thing for black people to have cancer.
Yeah.
This is white people things, you know? It's common with white people. They are the ones that have cancer. This is not us, you know? So for me to look around and see so many people sick, cancer, and it's not normal. They're not sitting upright and like waiting. These people are in blankets. These people are thin. None of them has like body weight, you know. All of them look like they're just sick. None of them have hair, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not gonna look this ugly.
Yeah. Right.
I'm not gonna lose my eyebrows, and I'm just not gonna look this ugly, you know. And the doctor booked me in. So my first 3 cycles, I was an inpatient. I was taking them inside the hospital. Oh, it was heavy. You know, in the chemo ward, I think this is where I stopped my belief in God. I think that's where I just told God one day, I'm like, you know what, from today, I'm giving me a new space. I'm not going to pray. I'm not going to pray. I'm not going to listen to gospel. I'm not going to have faith. If I die, I'll sort it out with you when I see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to do it.
You're done.
Because I was at a point where you're sleeping at night. In the morning, you go for chemo. I'm talking to you. You know, in hospital, you make family, you make friends. I'm speaking to you. 2 hours later, they close your curtains. 30 minutes when they open them, gone. You are no longer there. It's like I just spoken to you. So I wake up, I speak to you, and you're gone from Earth. Who's next? Me.
How many situations like that did you experience?
A lot. So just to like go back, before even starting this process, I was a bit in denial of the whole cancer thing, and I had an amazing doctor. I'll never forget this. His name was Professor Linda, and he's a guy, Professor Linda, and he once took me to a ward where it was just my peers, but it's called the ENT ward. It's the ear, throat, and nose ward. Yeah, ear, throat, and nose. So these are cancer, ear cancer, nose cancer, throat cancer. I'm sitting with my age groups. They can't talk because it's here.
Yeah.
So they don't talk. They can't eat. They have to eat with like syringes through their stomachs. Mm-hmm. So when I'm holding food and I'm eating, they are pumping fluids in their stomach to eat. Mm. These are people that are in my same age group. So he led me to go through a heavy stage, and he was like, I booked you in that ward because I wanted you to realize that you are better. Mm. Your problems are what other people are praying for, what other people are hoping for. Yeah. So same applies. So when I'm sitting in this position where people are dying in front of your eyes, it wasn't really easy because some of them were really my friends, my hospital friends. It's people that I've lived with in hospital. We talk, hi, I'm going to the hospital tomorrow. When are you coming? Family type of bond. When you lose something like that, you know their stories. These people are telling you that, dude, I have kids, and then gone. In the chemo ward, 7 o'clock, the nurses are praying. 7 a.m., the nurses are singing gospel. They are praying. They're not praying like on top of our head. They're like praying with them, 12 o'clock at night, the nurses are praying. Every 30 minutes, there's a pastor coming in to tell you about God. That's how hectic it is. That's where you start realizing that I'm in hell. There's no way I'm going to survive this. There is absolutely no way that I'm coming out of this alive. Because how can you tell me that I'm going to live when I just saw this person's life deteriorate in front of my eyes? She was speaking to me just now, and all of a sudden, she's on oxygen. She can no longer take out the oxygen and breathe on her own. It's like, dude, how are you feeling today? I'm crappy. How are you feeling? I'm horrible. Life goes on, I vomit and she vomits. In the chemo ward, there's no cleanness, if I should say that. You can't keep clean. So I'm going to wake up and vomit on the ground or on top of my bed or on the floor or whatever. When I'm vomiting, I'm sort of activating you to do the same.
Then I go off.
It smells vomit. It smells chemo. It's just horrible, And I think after my second one, my body started showing me the changes. Started losing my hair. Most horrible experience. As much as I cut it shorter, when you wake up, you touch the pillow and there's literally hair. You start being like, oh wow. You go and you look at yourself in the mirror, no eyebrows, no eyelashes. You are just clean. You lose you bathing and hair starts falling off. So after my second chemotherapy that I took in the hospital, after realizing that it's really toxic in the as an inpatient, I then went home to rest, and then I was summoned back for my third one. So your third chemotherapy session simply means that it's the one that is going to determine if they're going to take out your leg or if you're still going to continue doing the limb saving operation. So then I went back to the hospital for my third one. Little did I know that I was going to go through literal hell, in physical form, if I should say that, because I went in and I told myself that it's one of those things, I'm going in again. Let's see where this is going to take me. And I went to the hospital and I became suicidal. I became suicidal because I could no longer take it, I could really no longer take it. I could really no longer take chemotherapy. I could no longer be sick. Because as much as you had cancer in one located area, trust me when I tell you that it felt like your entire body was sick. It felt like every angle of your body is in pain. Every angle of your body is just going through something, and it is too much, because you get so you get dislocated with life in general. No friends, no TV, no cell phone, no social life. Like you're just on your own sick planet, and then that's it. I went in for my 3rd chemotherapy session, and I got really sick. My blood cells got to a point where they could not get built up. They could no longer reproduce themselves. I then got admitted in what we call an isolation room. So they moved me from people to a room where there was only 4 of us.
Okay.
And this is before COVID, but I used to sleep with a mask. Wear a mask. You don't take it off unless if you eat. And if there's the 4 of you in there, you guys don't take it off at the same time.
Yeah.
So if one has it off, the 3 has to remain with it on, And after every 2-3 hours, when a nurse would come in, she comes in with new masks. So you change it
regularly so.
When you have visitors, only one visitor was allowed in that room. And when the visitor comes in, they come in wearing plastic bags.
Okay.
So a plastic apron, cover their head, mask. The whole thing is that your blood cells are at 0. Mine were at minus something, I think. It means your body does not have any blood cells. So should you get a disease as small as a flu, you're gonna die. Because it means your body does not have anything to fight any bacteria or any disease. I went in there and they're like, no, don't worry, you're gonna come out very soon, 2 or 3 days maximum. I went in and it was weeks. I went in and I could no longer speak. I went in and I became blind. I went in and I stopped hearing properly,
All right. When you became blind, how? Just walk us through that experience, the blindness.
So, it was more partially blind type of thing, It's like you waking up, when you open your eyes, it's just blurry. You just can't see. It's just dark. It's just, So, it's just more it's not blind in a way that
you can't see anything, but
you can't see anything, but you're very partial. You can rarely see.
Yeah.
You can barely everything is just dark. If there's lights on, to you it's gonna feel it's dark, so dark city. But it was a 2-minute thing.
Okay.
So it sort of hits you and then reverse type of way, so then you can start seeing. So when you blink, oh okay, I'm back. So that was the case scenario. And with my hearing, till this day, I actually have hearing issues.
Okay.
My chemotherapy ended up giving me a buzz sound. So in my ear, there's a buzz sound. And I can't maintain too many noises. So I'm going to give an example. If I'm in a car and the car is moving, I'm going to get concentrated on the moving car plus my buzzing sound. I'm not going to hear the radio. I'm not going to hear the driver. Understand? So I started losing my hearing then. The buzzing started becoming very strong. I could hear this buzzing thing regularly, and I could only hear it for a very long time. And I remember this one day, it was a Wednesday. My mother came to visit me in the hospital, and the doctor was like, I'm not sure if she's going to make it tonight. Look, if your daughter makes it tonight, then you should know that you're serving a living God.
All right, what type of state were you in at that particular night? What gave the doctor that reasoning?
They tried helping me out with blood cells. I could not speak, I could not even eat. My tongue had not blisters as such, but something like that, caused by chemotherapy. So this part was closed. So I was not eating. My body was not picking up any blood cells. They were injecting me with supplements, boosters, but
sure,
and they were just we tried everything. This person has been in this state for weeks. She's just not gonna make it. She's just not gonna make it. And we can't send her home. We can't send her out of this room, because if she goes out of this room, it's goodbye.
All right.
At this point, I was eating in the hospital. They stopped giving me food. They were actually giving me jelly. But the jelly they were giving me, I think it did not have gelatin, because it wasn't like wobbly, or it was literally just water that is mixed with flavoring, and I would have to drink it. That was the only thing I could actually eat or drink, you know. So yes, I did not have. That was like, yeah, no, it's it. I remember my mom was packing my bags. Like, she even took my car, and she's like, I know, deal type of vibes. And I went to my scan that night. I went to my scan around like 8:30 or something. It was the MRI scan. Mm-hmm. So, I hate an MRI. So an MRI scan, you go into the scan and you go in for like an hour or 2 hours. You are not allowed to move. If you lift up your finger or scratch yourself or anything, the scan starts over.
Okay.
So you need to like lie still for like an hour or so, wait for the scan to finish scanning your body, and then you'll be able to, you know, maneuver around. But the problem with that is, you know how the human mind works. If you tell your brain, don't scratch yourself, you're going to start being itchy. You know? So I went for the scan, and my results came back the following day, and they called my family. So my mom went home with this thing that
you're not coming back.
I'm not coming back. So now she receives a call from the hospital saying, can you guys please come to the hospital because we need to talk to you. She came with the entire family. She brought her sisters, her brothers, like
they were prepared, like
yeah, no, everybody just came in with blazing guns, and they came in and I was sleeping. My aunt called me, my mother's sister. I picked up the phone and I said hi, and she's like, that's all I wanted to hear. All I wanted to hear was your voice. So if you're alive, then you know, that's it. They arrived at the hospital. The doctor came in with the nurses to come fetch me, because the isolation room, people cannot come in because people are coming in with diseases from outside. And like I told you, the people that are in there are like at the very lowest, you know, point. They came in, they sort of prepared like a room where we could sit with my family and I could see everyone, but they could not touch me, and they still had to sanitize, wear those plastic apron things, masks and all of that, you know. And she comes in with the results. I can't speak at this point because of my mouth. Like, not that I didn't have a voice. I did have a voice, but all the blisters and, you know, side effects from chemotherapy were blocking my mouth from actually speaking in a way. I'm sitting there and the doctor's like, here are your results. Your tumor did shrink. It shrinked. And here I am already excited that thank God they're going to save my leg. You know, they're just going to take out the tumor and save my leg. And she's like, no, your tumor did shrink actually a lot. And they would have been able to save your leg. But unfortunately, while it was shrinking, your tumor moved in between the blood vessels. So if we go and take out the remaining tumors, close you up, because it's in the blood vessels, it's going to spread.
Yeah.
And it's going to spread with your blood. And blood is something that's flowing. So whenever your blood continues flowing after every 2 seconds, it's carrying around these things.
Yeah.
So we are going to have to amputate you ASAP. Monday, first patient. You're losing the leg. She's not even an orthotist. She's what do you call this? She's she's a doctor for chemo, for cancer. Oncologist, yes. She's an oncologist, you know. So when she's telling me this, I'm like, dude, you are not an orthopedic. You don't know anything that has to do with bones, so chill.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it to her. That's what I'm saying to myself, you know. And while she's talking, I thought this was a game. Here comes in like a social worker. Here comes in an orthopedic. Now things are starting to happen, you know. the social worker, he's a guy. He starts speaking to the family. He starts trying to console the family. And then I need to say yes or I need to say no. And I can't. I was literally just quiet. I think it didn't sink in that I'm losing it.
Yeah.
So the doctor was like, she's like, Lerato picked up her blood cells. However, we're just going to keep on doing what we did for this weekend so that by Monday when she goes to the operation, her body should be extremely strong because she can't go if she's weak. She has to come out alive, you know. Her body needs to fight whatever. So we need to get it to a point where all the blood cells are stronger, you know. So my answer, like, yeah, no, Lerato can lose her leg, it's fine. I did not say yes. So I couldn't really like say yes or say no, and I had no emotions. I think this was the lowest I've ever felt. I did not have any emotion. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Back to the ward. The weekend came, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the day before losing a leg. I'm not allowed to eat junk food. I call my mom in the morning. I'm like, can you please buy me dunk wings from KFC? She's like, how many do you want? I'm like, any amount. She comes in and she bought me 20 dunk wings in the hospital. She opens it and I eat them. So to me, I'm like, I'm chunking myself. I know I'm not allowed to do it. And I'm at a point where I really don't care. I don't care whatsoever. If I die, I die. It is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And it hasn't really kicked in that I'm about to lose my leg. So when I go to the bathroom and the toilet, like in the hospital, I try to move on my crutches, like while bending the knee, trying to like prepare my mind to losing a leg, and it's not working. And when my mother left with my stepdad that night, that's when I realized, it's dark outside. It means tomorrow morning, I'm the first patient, 6 o'clock, gone.
That's the time of the operation?
Yes, my time of the operation was 6 o'clock in the morning. No, it was 8 o'clock, but because it's a public hospital, 6 o'clock, you need to be ready and already in the theater waiting.
Okay.
You know? So, it's night. The night goes by. I can't sleep. And that was the one time I prayed. After not praying, I'm like, I don't know why me. Because I lived my life to please you. And I tried to live accordingly, you know. I did things that my peers did not do. I lived for you. I was a prayer warrior. I used to go to church 3 times a week, prayed for sick people, went to people's funerals, and then you do this to me. Why me? Why did you not do it to somebody else that is already done with living? I am starting my life now, and you decide to do this to me, you know? And I'm like, you know what, God? I'm done with you. Like, I'm done. And in the morning, I woke up at 4 o'clock, went to bath. So it's a hospital. Every other patient is sleeping. I'm the only patient awake. Went to bath. And as I'm bathing, I took a video of my 2 legs. This is when it hits that it's the last time I'm going to ever see them together in one place, in one space, you know. I think I took an hour bathing, not really bathing, but just looking at my legs. And I think that I'm like, I'll never run again. I'll never touch soil again. I'll never just see my other side of fingers again. And I went out, and then there was a sort of glitch. So on one of the papers I signed wrong. So I'm like, this is a sign from God. I'm not going to lose my leg. God is showing up on the last minutes. And the doctor's like, no, sweetie, you're still going. Let me just go and fetch another form. He disappears for like 30 minutes and come back. And I'm like, I really feel that was God trying to prove a point. I went into the theater room, and funny enough, I'm still not crying. I'm still okay. So when we got to the theater room, well, the bed is like placed in a way that my head is facing the theater doors, you know. So they start preparing outside the theater, like putting drips and all of that, and I'm still not crying. The minute when they rolled that bed into theater, and when I look up, it's just all of these lights. Yeah. I lost it. I completely lost. I cried for like 30 minutes or so. I cried in such a way where the doctor was like, I'm not going to operate you. I can't do this when you're like this. I need your full consent. I'm like, I'm giving you my full consent. Take it out,
Yeah.
but like, give me a minute to cry.
Yeah.
Okay? I cried a lot. I cried. And they put me to sleep. And then they took out my leg, chopped it off, boom, And I woke up. You know what's weird? Amputation is not even painful. Losing a leg is honestly, it's not painful. My biopsy was much more painful than losing a leg,
Yeah.
I woke up and they prepared me. After waking up, they told me that, okay, look, my doctor was there and he's like, look, you are going to have something called phantom pains. You are not crazy. You're going to feel your leg. You're going to feel your toes. You're going to move your toes. You're going to touch your toes, the missing ones, but you are not crazy. If it happens, report. But calm down.
Yeah.
Ne? It's called phantom pains and it's going to stick with you until you die, I'm like, there's no such. I wake up and I really can't feel that I don't have a leg, so I'm not even looking. And there I'm giving morphine pumps, so I'm just pumping for the addiction.
Yeah.
I was no longer pumping for the pain.
Yeah.
Went in the ward and I slept, because obviously I still have like anesthetic in me. I slept, and when I woke up, my dad was there, And the first thing I said is like, Papa Lotulaga. Start crying, like my leg. So to me, it's like my life is done. Back to a wheelchair, like you're just gonna be,
That's that. Yeah.
Yeah. And to cut the long story short, I ended up looking because I needed to go to the bathroom, and I ended up opening. I'm like, like it's like,
it's gone.
Like gone.
Yeah.
I can't look at myself like this, and that time I'm still in bandages. So I'm like, I'm not ready to see myself with no bandages. And yeah, no, life. I thought this was the end of my problems. Kanti is the beginning, They removed my stitches. I went back home, and I lost my mental health. I went down the drain. Depression, anxiety. I would wake my mother up at 2 a.m. and I'm like, I want my leg now. So she had to channel herself and not cry, and she was like understanding that it's not me speaking, it's the intoxicated me, It's the depression me or depressed me talking. It's the depression talking through me that I want my leg. So at the hospital, they asked me if I wanted to see my leg after they take it out, and I was like, no. Now I want to see it. And it's no longer there. Where is she going to take it from, I went through a dark hole. I went through a hole where I didn't think that I would make it alive. I went through killing myself, basically, because I was trying so hard to commit suicide. I would overdose with morphine. I would overdose with any pills I could see. All I wanted was for me to sleep and never wake up. I would sit with my family while watching TV. Something funny happens on television. While laughing, I'll be like, I want to die. So the mood goes from 100 to 0. Out of the blue, and I'm like, I'm tired of living this life. So now the phantoms are starting to kick in. They warned me. Now the phantoms are kicking in because I can feel my leg and you guys can't see my leg. I am feeling my toes and you can't feel my legs. You can't feel it, you can't see it, but I can. So now I'm like, what must happen, God? Why am I feeling it when I don't have it?
Yeah.
And to be honest, my mother's the only reason why I survived. She came through for me when I was dead. Emotionally dead, She told me one day, she's like, please wear like this short pen. I bought you like not even a short pen. That was like extremely revealing. I want you to go to town with me. No self-esteem. On the verge of killing myself. Don't want to see people. I don't want to walk. I want to sit on a wheelchair, and that's it. I walked with her in town, boosted my self-esteem, and I came back home. She's like, I bought you a dress. It's yellow. So my type of cancer, our ribbons are yellow. So my blood is yellow, So that's how we celebrate the cancer. She's like, I bought you a yellow dress. Please wear it. Post on Facebook. I'm like, are you trying to kill me much more further? Like, are you just, why are you exposing me to negativity? She's like, no, try it out and let's see what happens. I did that. Immediately got like 600 or something like that likes. And I'm like, yo,
Hey,
that means I'm not
yeah.
that bad, you know?
Yeah.
That means I'm still looking good. As much as I'm dark, as much as I've lost my hair, I lost my leg, I'm still good. And I look back on my life now and I'm like, losing my leg has genuinely been the best thing that has ever happened to me. Like legit, you know, like,
Yeah.
dude, if I would be given a chance to do it again, I would. Cancer was hell. Cancer was horrible. Cancer is genuinely just the most evil disease ever. But losing a leg, a walk in the park. If God would be like, should we replay? I would be like, skip cancer, take the leg. To a point where I'm like, why was I born with 2 legs to start off with? Like, can somebody explain, you know? So yeah, no, I went through that, lost my leg, and I survived cancer. I got diagnosed clean on the 7th of October 2020. And so it's not really clean. It's called being cancer in remission. So you need to be in remission for 5 years and take scans, tests for 5 years. If it doesn't get cleared out, like if you don't see anything, if the doctors can't find any cancer, it means it's gone.
Okay.
If they find something, they need to clear it out, you know, within that 5 years. So yeah, no, that's my cancer story. I became an amputee, became an amazing amputee. It's time that I pull myself out from this, because if you don't pull yourself out from the darkest holes, nobody will pull you out, you know. If you don't stand up for yourself, nobody will. And people need to understand that it's not the end of the road. It's not the end of your life. After every storm appears a rainbow. That's it. Every situation that a person goes through always has something beautiful at the end. You know, the destination, the finish line is gold. And you need to be able to allow yourself to be like, you know, let me stand up and fetch my gold. Nobody's going to feel pity for you. Nobody's going to say, oh, she doesn't have a leg, let me give her a job. Nobody's going to say, oh, she doesn't have a leg, my mother's not even going to be there forever. My mother's going to leave me on this earth one day. Then what? You need to depend on yourself more than you depend on your situations and more than you depend on life itself. And it's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to go through storms. It's okay. But what's not okay is you allowing your situations to become the norm. Is you feeling like, oh, I had cancer. Oh, I lost my leg. So what? You know? Be able to say, yes, I lost cancer and I'm a warrior. Yes, I lost my leg and I am pushing. Because if you don't push, nobody's going to push for you.
Tell my story, every story is inspiring.